How's it going, guys? Today we're going to be opening our August of 2024 mystery tackle box. So the last couple boxes we've got I actually really enjoyed. I think the last 4 boxes might be the best boxes I've ever got. For a while there we were getting a lot of repetition. I just felt like the quality of the stuff in the boxes had kind of dropped a little bit, but recently I think we've been getting a lot better stuff, and hopefully that trend will continue today. Along with all that, we've also got a new secondary camera angle, which is pretty cool. Mostly that'll just be for showing off the smaller baits and stuff, but I figured to grab that secondary camera angle would just kind of help the production value a little bit. So without further ado, we are going to crack into this month's box. We dropped something off the table. Give me a second. And I guess the thing that fell off the table might as well be the first thing we crack into here. We've got the Ducket Baits Toad Runner Jr. So the first thing you're going to notice about this bait is obviously the giant paddle tail coming off the back of it. And I would have to imagine that that right there creates a ton of movement in the water and creates a ton of action. And on mornings where you want to cover a little bit more water, I'd imagine something like that works pretty good. All right, next bait in the box is the ever controversial Guggen Squad Junior Contender. Now the contender itself's not what's controversial, just Guggen Squad in general. I'm wearing the hat. I'm not like a super huge fan of Guggen Squad. I just got the hat for free. But anytime I get anything Guggen Squad in these boxes, somebody in the comments is for sure going to go down there and goes, that stuff sucks. It might. I'm just wearing the hat because it was the first hat I grabbed. But yeah, it might suck. I haven't used a ton of their stuff. I've used the Senko style stick baits. I've used, I think, the Kraken Crawl, the Bonito Bug or whatever it's called. All of them work fine. They're not my favorite for sure. I much prefer just a normal Senko or even a Yum Dinger over their stick bait, but I think their baits are fine. A little overpriced, but I mean, they catch fish. I also wouldn't say though that they're like the worst baits you're gonna use. And some people will tell you that, but I know there's a lot worse baits out there than Guggen Squads. They're kind of mid-tier for me, but this is the Junior Contender swim bait. I mean, it's a nice looking bait, but I always like to get swim baits out in the field and actually use them a little bit before I comment too much on them, because they're a bait that it's so important to actually see the action of the bait to really tell you if it's worth it or not. So I couldn't recommend it, but it's definitely cool to get it in one of the mystery tackle boxes. And can't wait to try that one out and see if it gets bit. And next we've got a Lucky Strike LES Squarebill. I'll be honest, I don't use a ton of Squarebills. I'll use them here and there. I mostly use Squarebills at 1 or 2 places around where I fish. I'll just be honest, there's not a lot of rocky areas down here to fish. I fish mostly ponds. So Squarebills really aren't ever my first go-to. But last year I was fishing a place with a lot of rocks. I caught like a 4.5, 5 pounder off a Squarebill. So it's a technique that I've been using more and more recently, but still not a technique that I'm using like consistently. But obviously a Squarebill is a super easy bait to fish. It gets bit. It's just a great bait in general. And once again, this is kind of like the swim baits, and really all fishing baits are like this. You can't give like too great of an evaluation on them until you actually take them out to the water and try them. This crankbait obviously looks really good, but the tuning could be off. And if the tuning's off, that's really not that big of a deal. You can just take a pair of needle nose pliers and tune it. But that's a really simple thing that I just always like it and prefer it when my crankbaits are tuned out of the box. That's one of the major things though that we could critique about this bait, but being that we're not actually on the water right now, won't really be able to get too great of a review on it. Also, I just found out that Booyah Frog comes with a replacement tail. So that's cool. That's just a little extra thing that comes with the bait. The next bait we've got here is the Diesel Football Jig. Honestly, that's a really great colorway for the areas I fish. And jigs are a pretty, I don't know if standard's the word, but most jigs you can take right out of the package and catch fish doing nothing to them. You might want to trim the skirt a little bit or trim the weed guard there, but most jigs you can take out of the box pretty quick and catch fish with. Really good looking jig though, and a really good pattern, so I have absolutely no gripes with it. And 100% I figure you could take this out and catch a whole bunch of fish. And yeah, you get a jig just about every month in the mystery tackle box no matter what, so this is our jig for the month. Next thing up, we've got the Ducket Baits BD Subtle Tail in White Shad. So I read the back of the box on this bait, and it said you could use it in saltwater or freshwater. And it's a really good looking swim bait, but it's also very soft, like softer than most swim baits you use by far. Not super stretchy, just a really soft material they made it with. And I'm sure as a trailer, this might be a little big for a trailer. It's a 4.5 inch. It might be just like half an inch to an inch too big to be a great trailer. But I'm sure you could use that on like a bigger spinner bait or something and still get hit with it. But for waters where you got like a lot of shad or something, that's a really good imitation there. And absolutely, I think just using it on its own on a Texas rig and swimming it, I think just like that, you could probably get bit on it. And anything like this is a pretty universal bait. As long as it's matching the hatch, it's not that hard to get bit on these. So next we've got the Weston Cree Crawl. Now that's a pretty big crawl. Like, it's probably half an inch bigger than most of the crawls you see on the market. And white is not my favorite color for a crawl. In fact, I almost never throw white. But I'm sure these would get bit. They look like they've got insane action. They've got a ton of little appendages on them, so I have absolutely no doubt you throw that into a bed or something, you're gonna get bit. A little weird that they'd be giving us this time of year. Obviously, fish aren't bedding where I am in Tennessee. They were bedding like months ago now, but these smell like Guggen Squad baits. Like distinctly like Guggen baits, like almost exactly the same. It might be the same scent. That's the first thing I noticed. They do have a ton of little appendages and a ton of stuff to make action in the water, but that just took all my focus. They smell just like Guggen baits. It does though. It feels like a high quality crawl and just high quality plastic in general. So I'm sure it's a good bait. It feels durable. It feels sturdy. I don't think every cast you'll be having to put another one on. And that's probably a good thing because they only give you 4 of them in the box. So I'm assuming that's kind of the point, is that they're not going to break off and tear up every single time you get a bite. I also like about that last bait that it's kind of like a hybrid bait. It definitely has a crawl style to it, but it also could just be used as a creature bait. Like I said, it's got a lot of little appendages, so a fish might think that's any number of things in the water. So next thing up, we've got the Smart Baits color changing baits. So these apparently change colors. That's something else. They're always trying something new. I guess this is the next big thing, or at least they think it is. We've got an odd looking little bait right there. That's very odd. Not sure exactly what that's trying to imitate, but some kind of little creature bait. A while back, we got a bait from the 10,000 Fish line of products, and it was the weirdest looking creature bait ever. Some of these things they're making now, I don't even think they're meant to like resemble something in the water. They're just meant to cause the most action possible and trigger a reaction strike. But if that really is their goal, just to create something that's going to cause the most action possible, I definitely think that that right there can cause some pretty crazy action. And the last 2 things that we've got in this box are some Point EWG hooks. Now these Point hooks always have that weird bend in them, and I haven't found that it helps that much, but it's definitely something different, and it's always good to see companies trying something a little bit different to just make their products stick out a little bit more. And we've got our sticker. Love the stickers every month. But yeah, that's everything in the box. They didn't give me a card this time to tell me how much everything costs, which I don't really like. I like to get that card so I can add up like how much all the baits costed and then how much we paid for them by getting the box. But not going to be able to do that this month, and I assume that's probably going to be the norm now that they don't give you the card to tell you how much everything's worth. Yeah, not sure if I like that, but thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more just like it, hit that subscribe button, like the video, do all that good stuff. Going to be a lot more videos coming up in the next 2-3 months. It's going to be a big couple months for us. Deer season's coming up, and can't wait for that. We've got a hunt in like 10 days. Tennessee's got a velvet hunt, which is going to be super fun. I've never participated in the velvet hunt before, but I'll be doing it this year, and hopefully we can put a buck on the ground during the velvet hunt. It is antlered only. It is also bow only, but yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. I'm pumped, and hope that you guys are too. Thank you for watching so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Y'all have a great rest of your day. I'm out. Please subscribe.